All right, hi everybody. Welcome to my first ever voiceover YouTube video. Let's start by introducing myself. I'm Jason. I've been doing this for about 8 years or so. Making music, producing, playing the guitar. Playing the guitar is my primary instrument. Why am I making a YouTube video? Well, I've been told to do this for the longest time. My excuse has always been, oh, I'm busy with school and all that. But I'm done with school now, and so really, I don't really have any excuses anymore. So here we are. Okay, and without further ado, so this is the project for "You Are God" by Akuchay. This song has been in the work for about a couple of years right now. We, I mean, as you can all tell, we recently just put it out a couple months ago. But this is an old song. And today I'm just gonna walk you through. I'm gonna try as briefly as possible to walk you through the all the different parts of the song. Yeah. So all right, let's get started. So I remember when we first started working on the track, she said that she wanted the track to have a ethereal type feel vibe to it, coming kind of soft. And so the easiest way to do that, or the first thing I thought of, was to start with the piano. So that is this grand piano here. This is a very simple grand piano, and this is what it sounds like. So nothing crazy, just a very simple piano, just playing a very simple line. And then that's layered with something called Melo Keys. This is a patch that I created by myself, and this is a different type of piano. So this is a darker type sounding piano. It's a little bit warmer, and it's the actual name of the piano. It's an upright felt piano. So it has a very warm, intimate sound to it. And then the last thing is something called lonely keys. This is another sound that I made. This sound gives the whole piano essentially a very ethereal, spacey, kind of like weird, like spooky vibe. That's all that ghostiness. That's what you're getting from Lonely Keys. Yes, and I know I'm blending at least four different types of pianos together to create literally just the intro and other parts of the song. And so I'll play Lonely Keys, and then I'll play what the intro sounds like. Okay, so that's basically Lonely Keys. And then if I play all three keys together, this is, the sound that you get at the beginning of the song. Okay, right. Uh-oh, not good. Uh that's weird. Anyways, let's carry on. Okay. So we have a bunch of this is a really long project, and I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, what are the cool things to talk about? We've got a bunch of guitars. Those are nice. Actually, before that, let's talk about the strings. So there are some strings. It's an orchestration. We do have those, but those are more so in the background. Like, I created them for them to be in the background. So this is what they sound like. Wait for it to come in here. It's very quiet. There we go. Right. this, fullness. Well, that's the point. It's meant to be in the background, and then when we combine it all with this, this is what we get. So actually, no, I'll just move the guitars for now, and then we have really thick bass, basically the intro. I mean, we have some electric guitars. Sure, let's go through that. Let's go through the electric guitars. So we go through electric guitars and this very nice bass. All right, so. So we have a guitar called and it sounds exactly like what you think it should sound like. It's literally just, it's kind of like a pad on guitar. One of my favorite things to do on guitar. Yeah, so that part is lit. So when I was making this, so I'm a weird producer, and so I like to add whatever I'm feeling, and so so I literally just did that. So I added what I was feeling, and so I added this little metal kind of like Middle Eastern vibe thingy to it. I remember Akuchay wasn't really on board with that, but I got her on my side eventually because it sounds extremely unique and you don't expect it, which is typically what you get when you're working with me. I like to do things unorthodox and just create crazy things. And so when we add that with the bass guitar, this is what it sounds like. There we go. Okay, and let's play it all together with everything, and then this is what it sounds like. Alright. Alright. Okay, so you know what? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let the song play through, and then interesting parts kind of like stop it and so we hear something. So at all the big parts, I needed to make those hit. And the best way to do that, I kid you not, is something called orchestral hits. Those things are lifesavers. And my also favorite instrument, I think I'll get to that later, tubular bells. I love those, super clutch. But orchestral hits. So if you're ever trying to make something like hit with a punch, you gotta have this in your track. This is literally what it sounds like. Yeah. It sounds super comical in its own, but with everything else, it sounds great. So I'm just going to, sorry, I'm getting a lot of texts. I don't know why I'm so famous today. Okay, so I'm just gonna loop through this section. I'm just gonna add more instruments so you can see how the instruments build on top of each other. So play this. And then we add the orchestra to that, and the orchestra is simply just adding the tubular bells, super clutch. There we go. And then we add the first electric guitar. And then we add another electric guitar, because why not? And then we'll keep adding electric guitars. Let's keep going, And so if you notice, these are all like harmonies of each other, right? To make it sound fuller and bigger. So that's a higher octave. Let's see what this one is. So yeah, so those are just power chords. There we go. then we add that with the bass, and then now we're getting something nasty. Okay, then we can add some drums to that, just to give it, a bigger impact. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we can do that. And literally, that's a very simple way of how you can create something with a really big impact. Okay, all right, let's keep listening, and then let's see if anything interesting comes up and that I want to talk about. So I've taken you guys on a roller coaster of genres right now. So we've started with very simple classical, and then we've dabbled into your metal a little bit, and now we're going full CCM. All right. And so to get that CCM vibe, this is what you need. We need something called Sound of Life. Epic. So this is a patch I created a long time ago. And essentially what that does, it's a patch that has it's oscillating, and so what that means is that it pulses at periodic times that you can set at. And so I've pulsed it to kind of like breathe with the music, and so this is what it sounds like. Let's get a little bit closer. So that pulse, it gives it like a sucking and pushing energy to it, and then you layer that up with guitar, and now we're getting somewhere. So there are a bunch of different guitars going on. Let's see if we can isolate what's happening here. Okay. Note for next time, I should probably label these a little bit better. Forgive me. Okay. So this is what a guitarist called diamonds. And what that is it's a simple, you're just strumming down on the strings. You're not really doing any articulations. You're not really strumming anything particularly too interesting. It's just a very basic downstroke or upstroke, but typically just always on the one of the next bar. And I believe that's the same thing happening here, just with a different guitar probably, so I can get a wider stereo image, I believe. I could be wrong. Okay, yep, I am wrong. Okay, so this I'm actively strumming aggressively on a different guitar. What are these guitars? Let's figure those out. What are these ones? So this is more of a clean, just a little bit of dirt on it, just to make it like bite through the mix, but nothing crazy. Aha! There we go. This is the sauce. This is what I was looking for. And so in your CCM music, you have super ambient guitars, and so those guitars, they're like dripping in like reverb and delay, and they sound like angelic and like surrounding you around you, kind of like the Holy Ghost. They're just kind of like all over you, and so this is me trying to replicate that as best as I can. I think 17 and 18 might be that, but let's just check out 17 first. Oh yeah, it's arpeggio. So you can hear how spacey it sounds and all that. This is typically the sound that you would probably find in a CCM type song, say like "Here's in Heaven" or like "The Blessing," what have you. Let's see, what is 18? Is that like the same thing? There we go. Exactly. So these two like work together to create like this hugging sound, and that's basically your CCM. Basically. We could go the bass. It's very basic. It's nothing, really happening with that. It's just me digging into the strings really aggressively. Alright, so I'm playing the bass guitar with a pick. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, you know the real bass is if you don't play your fingers. All right, I play with both, but there are different styles, different articulations for different types of music, and for this particular type of music, it called for me to use a pick. The reason why I'm using a pick is because the pick provides more attack. So if you're trying to get your bass to stand out, to like cut through the mix, and to be a little bit aggressive, a pick is the easiest way to go about it because it gives you that nice stank and an attack to it. And so that's it. The other really interesting part is the drums, but these drums are kind of tame, and so I'll get into the other parts of the drums when we get into these areas right here. Okay, all right. So let's listen to the chorus again with just guitar, bass, and drums. Okay, so now we are back at so now we're at the second verse, I think. I should know this by now. Yes, we are. Okay. So that's only. So this part, I wanted something kind of like aggressive, like. Yeah, type. I probably sound ridiculous, but that was kind of like what I had. I wanted it to, just step up a little bit because the first verse was a little bit tame, but I wanted this to be a little bit aggressive. Actually, a lot more aggressive. You'll see as we go a little bit further into the track. So let's keep listening to it. Snaps. That's good. Alright. Okay, so now we've come into like a really fun part. So this trap thing, it wasn't a mistake, but it wasn't something I planned. It just kind of happened. I was like, you know what, let's roll with it. So now we've flipped the switch again. So we started. I want you guys to take note of how many genres we're like flying through. So we've done your your classical. We've done your kind of like gospel, not really. We've done your metal, that's for sure. We've done your CCM, which is in the chorus, and now we're doing trap. All right. So that's, if my math is good, I think that's about like 5. I wasn't counting, so I think that's about like 5. So we've done about 5 different genres. So what gives this part its fun is the combination of the guitar and the trap aspect. So let's listen to that. I just thought it was something cool. Just a little, like little guitar line thingy. Let's listen to what that sounds like. I think this is it. Let's listen to that. Yeah. So nothing, supremely crazy. It's just a. Yeah, there we go. Nothing crazy. So you got your good old snaps, snap, snappity, snap, snap. And then yeah, so this. Now we're going to the bigger chorus. Head over to the mod. Mod stands for is short for modulation. Okay, so what took me the longest in this entire project was the drums. I don't know how to play drums, so I'm gonna just start by saying that. This is all fake drums. And when I mean fake drums, I mean no one actually played them. I mean I did play them, but it wasn't a real drum set. And so I had to go in manually and literally program every single hit manually by hand. It was a pain. I suggest if you're ever trying to do live drums, just hire a drummer. Don't do this. It's a lot of work. It paid off, thankfully so, but it's an outrageous amount of work. Especially if you're trying to get it to sound as live as possible, as real as possible, it's super hard. But anyways, so let's talk about fat snare. All right, this is one of my favorite instruments here. I got this snare sample somewhere online. I remember where. I could probably drop a link or whatever if you guys want to know. This sample here, I call this the Bethel Snare, and not a lot of people like it. I love it. It has a thick oomph. It sounds like a kick and a tom, and a snare, kind of like had a kid. Like, let's not make it graphic, but that's that's essentially what it sounds like. It smacks. It's punchy, but it's also heavy and deep. So let's listen to what it sounds like by itself. I love that sound. It has a gated verb on it, and so it smacks and the gate opens and then it closes, and so it gives that really sharp burst of reverb. I love it, simply put. So this is the snare that I use if I'm trying to get like a big snare sound. So this is the snare sound that I use. Okay, let's keep moving through. I'm not trying to make this video 6 hours long. All right. Sure, a very quick example of how automation can make your life a little bit easier. So let's take a look at this track right here. And so I played a line on the bass guitar, but it wasn't loud enough to like cut through the mix. And so what do? Literally just turn it up. It's that simple. There's no need to overthink anything. Oh, I need something louder? Well, just turn it up. And so that's essentially what I did right here. It's a very simple line. All it does is very simple. Automation, you love to see it. Very simple. Nothing crazy, just automate that part. Yep. Oh, that was hard to do. And I'll be honest, most of these rolls, they're all an accident. Some of them I had them in my head, but this was an accident. This was not what I was aiming for, and it just kind of like fell into place. And like, you know what? Fine, I'll just work with what I have. And so let's listen to when it sounds like by itself. I know, crazy, right? Yeah, I did that manually. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I mean, it is, but if you can find an easier way to go about it, for sure they do that. Okay, let's keep listening. My mind was, all right, the bridge, I want it to sound as big as possible, and I'm already pretty big. The mix is already pretty big, is what I mean. It's already pretty big. How can I make it already bigger? The way you can do that is you're playing with something called dynamics. So you bring it down a little bit, or you take out something that gives it weight. And typically, what gives things weight is like a kick or like a bass guitar. And so what I did was I took out the kick. I left the bass guitar in, but I took out the kick, and I added something that gave it a lot of width, and it claps right here. So I wanted this part to sound like you're in an auditorium or like a stadium, and everyone's kind of like clapping in unison or trying to be unison. And so the way I get it to sound like there are hundreds of people clapping is it's a little trick. I don't know where I learned it from. I don't remember, but essentially what it is if you can see here, I have about like 10 or 12 different tracks of claps, and they're all there's high, there's mid, there's low, and what that is it's just various pitches. But what gives the illusion of like massive people clapping together is if you look here, they're all kind of like they're not hitting at the same time. They're all like hitting at like random intervals, and that's purely all random, and they all have very random velocities. Why? Because people are not robots, and so we don't all like clap at the same time or at the same intensity all the time. And so mix that with with the healthy amount of reverb, clap verb, and I'm going into Logic Space Designer, super clutch plugin. I love it. You get something that sounds like this. Right, and so by itself it doesn't sound very, it doesn't sound what's the word I'm looking for, it doesn't sound how you would expect it to sound. But that's the beauty about like mixes. When things when you isolate things, they typically don't sound how you would expect them to sound. But that's the reason why that's important, is because a mix is not just one element, it's a mixture of different elements. And so this mixed with everything else gives that illusion, but this by itself, no, it doesn't do that. And so with mixing, everything has to be there for a purpose. And so when we add the claps back in, or let's add the claps back in with drums, and then let's add it with the bass, and let's hear what that sounds like. Now we're getting that vibe of like, oh, okay, oh shoot, it sounds like there are a lot of people singing together, playing together. So now let's listen through that bridge. So it's just the point of that. I just wanted to show you a really easy way to get like your claps to sound big and huge. Just get a bunch of them and play them at like random intervals. All right, okay. Sorry. I must confess. So, what's happening here? There's a line that is playing, and I borrowed. I borrowed this line from a game, Spider-Man. I borrowed this line from the Spider-Man Miles Morales. I love the line. It's ba dee dee da 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 ba da 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 da. I love it, and so I borrowed it. Hopefully they don't mind. I think it just has such a it has like royalty to it. How can a line sound royal? I don't know, but it does to me. So yeah. So yeah, let's keep listening through it. And so this part, it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. The drums are just doing like the most, and I'm just adding literally whatever I can add. Let me break it down a little bit. So we got some bells. All right, we got some bells. The bells are playing exactly what the electric guitars are playing. So let's hear that. So the trick to getting things to sound as full as possible is you want to try and fill out your EQ spectrum as much as your frequency spectrum as much as possible. So I've got things playing in like super high, frequencies, and I've got things playing super low, and so it kind of like covers that massive, frequency spectrum. That's another trick you can do to get your mixes to sound big, is you want to try and cover as much of the audible frequency spectrum that you can. The drums are doing the most. Let's hear what those are doing. Horns, they come in and you guessed it, they're playing the exact same thing. I think they are, at least. So now we're at the end of the song. All right, so we've done super big, and now we've come back down, which is this is how you should I think you should create your music, kind of like a journey. So you're climbing a mountain, you've gone to the peak, and now you're just trying to come in for like a graceful landing, right? So this was all played live. I tried. So that end, I didn't want the end to be, cliche, because the way we had ended the song originally was, just a very basic fade out, but I wanted to do a little bit more. I wanted to add just a little bit of spice towards the end, because why not, right? And so I did that, and so we get this. It's awkward. Sorry, it's one of my favorite things to play. Can I play? So yeah, so it's a very simple. Right, and so I played that. I was like, ooh, okay, I'm digging that, and so I added that in, and so that's the end of the song, and I don't know how long this recording has been, but that was at least I tried a summary of what the thinking process was going into making Your God by Akuchay. Hope you liked this. Subscribe, like, do all that YouTube stuff, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon again. Alrighty, bye now.